Hi, and welcome to Mestey Films production. I'm Alex Mestey, and I'll be your host for tonight. We're really excited because today is our second season starting right now. So let's get started. So you want to be an actor. You really are desiring it. And the most thing you wonder is, how does it feel to be on set and hear quiet on the set, background, action? So for get you that information, I got my latest production, the cast of For Money and Love, and they're going to talk to you about how did it feel to actually be on set, their experience, and hopefully you could gain a little bit more information about the career you have chosen. So are you ready? Quiet on the set and action. Well, I have right now with me the cast of For Money and Love, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Go ahead, guys.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I played Crystal.
Hi, my name is Gulnara, and I played Jessie.
I'm Steve Izand, and I play Nicholas.
Madam Pulio, and I play Patrick.
All right, guys. We're going to be talking about how does it feel to be on a set. You know, when we want to be an actor and you haven't got there yet, you really wonder what it feels like. And you guys just have this experience. So, who wants to start? How did it feel to be on set?
Well, it was fun. It was a lot of work. There were tough days, but there was more times than not it was fun days. Which, when it's fun like that, it's not work.
Yeah.
So.
It's particularly rewarding, of course, if you remember your lines. Now, if you don't remember your lines, then there can be a problem. But being on set is a wonderful thing. For some of us, I think it's almost like a narcotic. And you wake up the next morning and you go, "Did I really do that?" And it's fun for those that want to get into acting. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you have to work on in terms of the basics and just knowing the mechanics of being on set. But for those of us that like doing that, it's a wonderful place to be.
Adam, this is your first production, right?
Yes.
Tell us how it felt to get there the first day and actually hearing those words, action.
First day was. The first scene was interesting because I was just like, I'm used to doing theater, stage work where it's just you go and if you mess up, you just keep going with it, you roll with it, just pretend that it didn't happen. Whereas when you're filming, if you mess up, somebody's going to yell cut and you get another shot at it, which is refreshing, but it's also a little nerve-wracking because you have to remember, okay, I was here 20 seconds ago, I need to be here again, need to do this the exact same way, hit my mark, and I don't know, and just the whole being on set, like the lights, the camera, especially when the camera's like right there, like in your face, but you're trying to act like it's not right there,
yeah.
which is always a little tricky, but it was fun.
Let me stop you right there. He did say about your mark. Why that is done is because when you're in editing, you have to do the exact same thing, so when they edit it, it looks perfect. So it takes a lot of work to get used to doing everything at the same time that you did the last time. Sometimes you even forget, and it becomes very difficult, right?
Yes.
Well, and I hope I'm not revealing too much if I say that at certain points in the movie, Lucky Adam here has some very close ups with these two lovely ladies. And of course, when you see it on the screen, no one's going to think about, well, there's really a camera that's only 6 inches away from the two of them, and there's 5 or 6 people standing around. There's a person with the boom mic, and there's the camera person, and of course there's the director, and there's a number of other folks. So what looks like it's intimate on the screen, of course, for the actors at the time, but you just kind of get lost in the moment, right?
You do, especially when you have these two. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Thank
Pretty
you.
easy. I do what I can.
Actually, you brought that up about, love scene, kiss scenes. How is that to do that? I mean, not about the kissing, of course, but with the camera and stuff. How is your experience? Is it true what they say that, it's not real? You can't feel anything? How can you as actors can explain it to other people?
Well, I would say that for Michelle, it's not real and it's not intimate with Adam. But when I'm on set and in front of the camera, I am the character that I'm playing. And so, I was embodying Crystal, and it was she that was coming through in all of those scenes. And she was falling in love with Patrick, and that was really coming through in all of those scenes. So there was feeling there. There is emotion that, that builds between these two characters, and a lot of, romantic tension, a lot of, other tension that builds. And so that there is some authenticity there, because as actors, we're not pretending. We really are, part of our training is learning how to be empathetic to what a character, how they would react and how they would, what the emotional intensity would be of a scene. Whether that be fighting with Patrick, having a confrontation with Jesse, working as a doctor with my patient, or showing affection. So.
To say it's one of those tricks of acting is you're not supposed to really act, you're just living it, but you have to act like you're living it, experiencing it for the first time, because if you don't, then it shows and nobody's going to believe it.
Absolutely.
Which is why, like she said, is you kind of detach yourself. You're not that person. You're playing that character, so you yourself aren't really falling in love with another person or have these like real feelings for another person, because it's a character. It's not you.
We'll be kind of surprised when you're done with production. That person is not the character. Surprise! That doesn't work.
That can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So there has to be kind of like a boundary kind of thing. Now, we love acting. It's really fun to be on set, but it is a lot of work. What do you guys have to say about that?
A lot of hours. I mean, it takes a lot of time to set up equipment. There's a lot of angles that, a lot of, got to get my point of view, got to get the other actor's point of view, got to get a master shot. There are several takes that we've got to get and safety takes that we have to get. So, I mean, one small scene that in total in the movie might be 30 seconds might take us hours to film. And then, if it's an outside scene, then we've got cars and people passing by, or those, dogs.
So this isn't a low budget. You don't have to worry about that if you're not big.
And also, I think it's very emotionally exhausting, because depending on a scene, sometimes you have to go from one state to another so fast. You can be filming one scene where you're aggravated, another scene where you are happy, and there could be just, let's say, less than 15-minute break between those two, and have to be able to switch very fast. And also, if you're playing a character which is so different from who you are, it's also very emotionally challenging to be able to, because you have to feel those feelings when you act. So basically, when you're a normal person, you may not experience all that range of emotions in one day. But when you're on set, you have to work those scenes. You have to actually feel them. So most of the time, by the end of the day after filming all those scenes, I would personally get really physically and emotionally exhausted, and I would just like to go home and go to sleep and just rest after that.
It's very draining, right?
Yes.
Now, because we're in Virginia, and a lot of actors, this is not like a big budget film, so it's an independent film. Most of you have regular jobs, so there's even more, it's harder on you guys. Like, you work really late, and then you have to get up, and the next morning, how was that? Like, for a whole month you all did that. How were you drained? How much did I drain you?
Well, I guess in my case, thank God my coworkers, they knew that I was also acting, and they were understanding when I had to leave office a little bit earlier. But as you said, sometimes we had to be on set till midnight, sometimes till 1 a.m., and then we have to drive home another half an hour, and wake up in the morning, go back to work, and the next day again on set. So it's basically working 24/7. During the day, you're Gulnara, like who you are normally, and then in the evening, you're Jesse, and you have to be able to have all those things all in one place, and to remember you have to switch, not to forget when you come to work that you're not Jesse, you're actually Gulnara, and when you come to the set that you're not Gulnara anymore. So that was definitely fun and a great experience.
Just say, working on an indie film, being here on the East Coast instead of the West Coast, I love what I do. I really, this is me living my life on purpose. And so being on set, acting, directing, whatever it is, I am not actually working. I'm really having a great time. It is hard work, don't get me wrong, but I enjoy every minute of it. And I actually feel like it feeds my soul so much that when I go home to my children or work or have my other things that I have to do, I'm a better person because I am living my life on purpose and doing the thing that I'm meant to do. So
I think it means different things to different people. I have the luxury that my cast members don't have, in that I retired from a real job a few years ago, and so I have the luxury of indulging my passion. But it also can be a wide range of things. I could be there until 12 or 1, and then the next day I'm doing a commercial for DHS, or I'm on a bus up to New York for an audition or something like that. So, but I would agree with Michelle. I have the luxury of saying this is not work. This is something that I love to do, and I get to pick and choose, which is also important. Thank goodness I actually don't have to earn real money doing this. I get to do whatever interests me, and in this case, doing this movie was something that was a high level of interest.
It was there were those nights like 5 in the morning where it was like, oh, I can't believe I've been here since 10 o'clock this morning and we're still going. But you gotta muster up the energy and make it work, and it always does. I mean, like I said before, if you love what you're doing, then it's not really work. It's just fun.
I think it's a privilege to actually get to do this. Not a lot of people get to do it, right?
that's right.
Now, Steve, you did say that you retired. What made you want to be an actor?
It actually was a totally serendipitous moment. I actually had, before I retired, I had never done any acting, never done any theater work. And I was, a couple of years after I retired, I was reading an article in a newspaper about a guy who had retired, and there was a couple of sentences about how he was doing some extra work. And it gave the name of a website, and I thought, well, I could do that. And so I joined that particular website, and it's been all downhill since then. So, no, it's just that's how it started. It was
Right.
completely on a whim. Some people have said, well, when I was working, say, gosh, you have such a great voice, and I actually they would ask me to do their voicemails for them at work. But other than that, I just sort of stumbled into it, and it turned out to be something that I dearly love.
And I had to tell you that Steve's resume is impressive. Impressive, especially because you just started when I met you, and you already had an astounding resume. I mean,
Well, I have the luxury of time to do this. I used to tell people
it's
that
not luxury because you could have the time, but if you're not good, you're not going to get a good
Well,
resume.
well,
So
that
you're
could
good.
be true. But I used to tell people when I first started out that I was acting full time. The truth of the matter is, as everyone here knows, is I actually audition full time, and then I occasionally get something.
I think we all do that, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, guys, we're going to stay tuned right here. All right, this is the first part of our show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some information from it. And stay tuned because our second part is coming right up.